All right, so if you are here with me, that means that you didn't pass your Chapter 3 test. So we're going to go through each of these questions and we're going to discuss together some of the things that we can do to make sure that we are on the right track and so that you can fix the mistakes that you made and solve each of these problems successfully. So number one, the directions say write each phrase as an algebraic expression. So if you are writing this phrase as an algebraic expression, that means that your answer should be an algebraic expression with a variable in it. The product of a number x and 12 is added to 7. Remember, this word product means multiply. So the product of a number x and 12, remember that when we're writing an algebraic expression, the number always comes before the letter. That's called my coefficient when I'm writing a multiplication problem with an exponent. And then whatever the outcome is added to 7. So we could write this as 2x is added to 7. So what do we need in order to complete this statement? Finish the problem and then write your answer in the box. Number 2, a number z decreased by 10. So again, we're writing an algebraic expression, and z, our variable z, is going to be decreased by 10. Decreased means to subtract. So a number z is decreased by 10. So write an algebraic expression that might represent z being decreased by 10. This time it says write an algebraic expression, write the expression as a phrase. So we're going to use words in a sentence. So we need to have a good word that represents multiplication for 8 times n. So you might use the word product. So if we use the word product of, so we're going to use the product of 8 and a number n. And then how could we describe this addition sign in words? You could say is added to 5, or you could say is increased by 5. So a number n, the product of a number n and 8, or the product of 8 and a number n, is added to 5. You just need to write that in a sentence. Okay, this number 4 through 6 says evaluate and show your work. So if we're going to evaluate, that means that we're going to substitute or plug in what we have for our variable into the expression. So we're going to put 9 in where y was, and we're going to solve. Remember, anytime you have a number next to a variable, that means multiply. So 2 times 9 minus 4. Go ahead and solve and write your answer in the box. Number 5 and 6 are very similar. Again, you're going to substitute 4 for x and 3 for y. You're going to plug those into the expression and then solve. Remember that 2 next to a variable means multiply. For number 6, remember that, again, x equals 7, so plug 7 in for x. A number next to a letter means multiply, as well as a number next to a parenthesis also means multiply. So solve this expression and put your answer in the box. Number 7 says write an expression that best describes the table. So if x is my variable, what is happening to x to get an outcome of 6? Well, let's take a look. How do I get from 2 to 6? Well, I can either add 4 or multiply by 3. So let's check the next one and see what the pattern is. 4 to 12. Is that adding 4 or is that multiplying by 3? That's multiplying by 3. Let's check the next one. 6 to 18. Is that adding 4 or is it multiplying by 3? It's multiplying by 3. Let's check the last one. 10 times 3 is 30. So that means that each time I put in x, it's being multiplied by 3. But I need to write an equation that best represents the table. So an equation that would represent that means that you need to write an expression or an equation that represents how x is being multiplied by 3. Remember, when you write a number next to a variable, the number always comes first as your coefficient. So write an equation that would represent x being multiplied by 3. Number 8 says complete the table. So if you're going to complete the table, all you're going to do is plug in your x values into the expression and then solve. So the first one, you're going to put 2 in where x is. Remember, anytime you have a number next to a variable, that means multiply. So 2 times 2 is 4, minus 3 is 1. Now you're going to plug in a 3 for x. So 3 times 2 minus 3. Give these ones a try and fill in the table as you solve. Numbers 9 through 12 all say to write an equivalent simplified expression for the following expressions. So I'm looking for either parentheses that mean I need to distribute, or I'm looking for like terms that have the same last name that I can put together. Okay, so in this one, do I see any parentheses? No, I do not. So I'm looking for like terms that I can put together. Well, I see an x, a 3x, and a 4x that all need to go together. Remember, anytime I see an x by itself, that means that it has an implied coefficient of 1, meaning that that is just 1x. So now I need to add them together. 1x plus 3x's plus 4x's. How many is that? If you need to, draw a picture. 1x plus 3x's plus 4x's. How many x's is that? And then you add whatever you get to 6. Can we add 6 to any of these terms? No, we cannot, because it does not have an x. So your answer should have two terms, a term with a coefficient and an x, plus the constant that is all by itself. So write your answer in the box and move on. Number 10, we have parentheses. So first I need to distribute 5 times 3 and 5 times y. Remember that a plus sign goes in between them. So 5 times 3 is 15, plus 5 times y is 5y. Now, can we simplify or combine like terms? Well, does 15 have a y? No, it does not. So I can't simplify this. This is my answer. Number 11 also has parentheses, so make sure you distribute 3 times 2a and 3 times b. Once you have distributed, then you need to combine like terms. Make sure that you recognize that there is a subtraction sign in this problem, not just addition. So when we combine, the 3 times 2a is 6a, so 6a minus 2a, not plus. Okay, go ahead and simplify this expression and write your answer in the box. Number 12, we need to, again, look and see, do we have any parentheses? No, we do not. So combine like terms. What things do we have that are alike? Let's put them in pairs. 2x and 4x, and 3y and 2y. Again, take notice of the symbols or signs. We have an addition sign, and a subtraction sign. So when I put the 2x with the 4x, we're going to add. And when we put the 3y with the 2y, we're going to subtract. So simplify and combine like terms and write your answer in the box. Number 13 says factor the expression using the GCF. So we're going to take 18 and 24 and find the greatest common factor. If you don't know what the greatest common factor is, let's make a factor tree. 18 and 24. We can break 18 into 6 and 3, and 6 can break into a 2 and a 3. Now let's break 24. 24 can break into a 6 and a 4. 6 breaks into 2 and 3, and 4 breaks into 2 and 2. So now, what do they have in common? Let's make a Venn diagram. They both have a 3 in common. They also both have a 2 in common. Is there anything else that they both have in common? This one only has a 3 left over, and this one only has 2's left over. So nothing is left that is in common. So now we need to multiply 3 times 2 from our Venn diagram, which equals 6, and that is our greatest common factor. So that means that I'm going to pull out the greatest common factor from my expression. So we're going to put 6 parentheses, and now you just need to figure out, you're going to divide each term from my expression up here by 6. So 18 divided by 6 is plus 24 divided by 6 is, and then close your parentheses. Let's try the next one. Very similar, but this one has an x in one of the terms. So we're going to find the greatest common factor. 15 can break into 5 and 3, which are both prime. 20 can break into 5 and 4 can break into 2 and 2. So now I need to pull out the greatest common factor, which is just a 5. And now I need to divide each term by 5. So 15x divided by 5 is, don't forget about your x. And 20 divided by 5 is, don't forget your plus sign in between the two terms. And then we close with the parenthesis. Make sure you finish these two problems. The last problem is application of what we know about expressions. So if the expression 15 times w times 6 represents the volume of a rectangular prism with length of 15, we have a length of 15, a width of w, and a height of 6. So if in order to find the volume, we have to multiply 15 times w times 6. And they are telling us that w equals 5. So they want to know what is the volume of the rectangular prism. So we're going to use this algebraic expression, but we're going to insert a 5 where the w is, and then just solve. So now you have 15 times 5 times 6. So you need to find the answer to this problem, and make sure that in our answer, whenever we're finding volume, volume is always inches cubed. So your answer should go here with an inches cubed after it. I hope that this has been a helpful remediation. When you are finished, come bring your test to me.